I'll find out how you can do that. Thanks, Ambisani. Sig in Randburg, morning.
Good morning, Siki. Siki, I'm a great fanatic for democracy, and I do believe that an African Renaissance of the type that Thabo Mbeki was proposing to get to happen, but I think he betrayed it. I think we need that kind of African Renaissance that we're not getting. The stuff that was in NEPAD, where we were supposed to promote peer review of honesty, decency, and integrity, which we're not doing at all. In fact, we're electing dictators like Gaddafi as presidents for Africa, for the African Union. So my problem is, I'm not sure what your author is trying to say. I'm all in favor of his democracy and Renaissance, but I don't believe that harking back to apartheid is going to get us there at all. We are 16 years after apartheid, and what have we got now? We got worse education, I believe, than we had then, and we've got democracy. Our future leaders are defying every aspect of democracy and denigrating our courts, who judge on their democracy practice in their youth league elections. Across most of the country, their youth league has been an example of non-democracy bullying. They call it gerrymandering, is a terrible word, but this is election rigging. That's what, and mafia bullying of the guys that don't agree with them. You just chuck them out and pretend that you have a democratic youth league.
All right, Sig.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. I think you've made your point. That's Sig in Randburg. I'll give you a chance in Ntsikelelo to respond to all of that, and we'll take more calls on 0891 104 207, SMSs to 34701. It's 24 and a half minutes to 10, talking about the book Beyond Democracy, Igniting the South African Renaissance, in conversation with Ntsikelelo Mzibomvu, who is the author. He's also a speaker, an entrepreneur, a poet, a hip-hop artist, basketball player, and a thought coach. We'll take your calls, 0891 104 207, and I'll read those SMSs that you've sent through so far in a moment, but it's just respond to some of the callers in Ntsikelelo. And a lot of the people basically saying, that if you are a slave, if your mind is in slavery, you can only blame yourself. I think that was what Jazz was saying. He says we can't keep harking back to pointing fingers at apartheid. We should be blaming ourselves now.
Yeah, no, it's a very awesome point. And I just want to say that is true, but he's forgetting something. If you don't know, you can't do it. You can't do something that you were not taught. And the truth of the matter is, the reason why we go back to apartheid, it's our starting points. The title of the book is Beyond Democracy. So meaning it's apartheid, democracy, then going beyond democracy. So we need to start looking at the residual effects first. If you go to a doctor, there's a diagnosis. They have to tell you what's wrong with you first before they can actually say this is the solution. And we're saying that, look, I grew up in a township in Guatemala. It's in the East Rand. You can go there. I understand the way people think there. I understand the reason why they think the way they do, and I understand what limits them. I'm from there as well. I've got friends there. I've got friends that I've tried explaining this to, but they never saw it coming. As a result, we've had different outcomes. It's really not about your background. Yes, that is true. It's about the decisions that you make. But how are you going to make those decisions when you don't know what decision to take? When you're in a corner, when you don't know what's the next step? And that is where people like me come in to say, look, let's look at the history. Let's find a train. Let's find a path. We're not holding back to apartheid. That's long gone. If we're holding back to apartheid, you and I, Sigi, would not be here. But the truth is, we are here because of our imagination. This is something that you had as a dream at some point, and you said, you know what, I want to do radio, and it became a goal, and you materialized it, and today you are in radio. If you didn't think about that and you didn't cultivate it, you wouldn't be here. And that's what we're saying, to say, look, we've done great things. A lot of black people in South Africa have done amazing things, but the truth is, the larger part of the population is still in psychological bondages, and that is something we cannot say or pass by and say, no, it is not true. It is true. Go to any township, go to any rural area, go have an interview with them, ask them about their thought patterns, what they know. Most of them don't even read. Reading is actually something that is foreign to most South Africans, and this is a fact, especially the black South Africans. And people need to understand this. You can't also pour into a cup that's already full. You know, if your mind is still full of old ideas and you're holding them to make decisions, it's not going to work. You're not going to see the point of changing your thoughts. First, you must actually evaluate the ideas that you currently possess and actually look at them in the bigger scheme of things. I mean, there's a lot of things that happen in the World Cup, a lot of beautiful things, but there's also a lot of things that we as South Africans exposed ourselves to the international world. Our thinking, you know, when people went to the townships as part of tourism, it became clear of the differences. I mean, the Gautrain takes the person to Sandton. Wow, it's first class, first world. Yeah, it's beautiful. And then they take the person to a township in Soweto. Then there's kids asking for 5 rand. Why isn't that kid at school? Because that kid has a thought process instilled in him that it's okay to be begging for money. And these are realities, and anyone who can deny them would be only denying them because of a thought process that they've actually put into themselves. We need to change these things. It's time for change.
Let's read some SMSs. Tami Ngandla says, brilliant guy there in your studio. Keep it up, Ntsikelelo. And Lianya says, Siki, please ask your guest, what is his take on the state and quality of political leadership in the country?
I try to avoid politics by all means.
It's a question. You're going to answer it?
I'm going to answer it very honestly. And I'm going to put it back to the analogy that I made of the wilderness. If you look at, you know, the takeover, and that's why we had things like the sunset clause and whatnot, because when the power was shifted back to, you know, to the black people to say, you know what, now black people can run the country, there was a problem with skill, because now we had people that were in exile who might have received a lot of beautiful education. They came back with a lot of knowledge and expertise, and you have people that were in the army, you know, the MK, and then you also have people that were in the country that were still subjected to these thoughts, the working class. Now you got to realize that at some point they were to be the future employees of our government. Now you look at it 16 years later, you've seen development. And that is the most beautiful thing about our country. Our country is young, but the development has been amazing. You know, the government departments have changed. There's more of a balance in terms of the racial divides. You know, you have black people that have moved up. You know, some places where it was really strategic, they kept the white people there so that they could actually keep things moving. I mean, it had to be a duality. There's an apparent duality here that you have to understand, a balance that the government has been trying to maintain while actually growing and improving. And personally, I find that our politics have grown to such a point that they're amazing. I mean, it really is amazing. People can go out there and put their views forward, and which is a benefit that we didn't have before. And now people are also starting to understand lobbying, to say, look, if we don't like something that the government is doing, we can lobby against it. Previously, black people in the township, if the government didn't want to do something, it would either be a strike, a stay away, or they wouldn't do anything about it at all. But people are getting more intelligent. People are starting to see the fruits of democracy. Some people are taking advantage of it, some people are not. So it's development. It's only 16 years. There's only so much you can do in 16 years. But what we have done as a country, I think it's amazing.
Let's read some more SMSs that I'm going to take some calls. Someone says, actually, the whole world should read the book. Why should a handful of people control everyone else? We need to wake up our consciousness. Elliot in Witbank says, the SABC's local-only music policy is one restrictive and retrogressive blunder of our times. And Norma says, the guest must be accurate. Apartheid was a total system of physical, social, economic, military, ideological fascism. Bullets killed, we still have trauma. And Dirk in Pietermaritzburg says, it's true what the author states in his book. We as blacks are so stuck in the past that we don't even see that we're still jumping the rope of oppression. It is in our